Hey guys, hope you're having a great day. It's another gorgeous day here in South Carolina, hanging out by the garden here. You can see kind of the remnants of the kale and the tatsoi. If you haven't tried tatsoi, it is really awesome. It's like a kind of like a spinach or New Zealand type spinach, and we love it. The dogs love it. So it's been very hearty. Unfortunately, it's been so hot here for January that a lot of it's bolted. So it's kind of crazy. So I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. It is Groundhog Day, and the upside is that Mr. Puxahani Phil did indeed see his shadow. So supposedly that means we've got 6 more weeks of winter, or as my mother told me when I was a kid, about a month and a half. And yes, it took us a little while to put that together. And when we did, we said, "Oh, Mom," and she laughed at us. So she liked playing jokes on us like that. So hopefully you guys will come on and hang out and that kind of stuff. I've had a couple of questions from clients in the past about older dogs and kind of what type of exercise should they be doing, how much, that kind of stuff. And the answer to that question really varies by the dog and what's going on with it. So we've got here's Mr. Pep come to hang out with us. We've got 2 older dogs, almost 13-year-old Dachshund and a 12-and-a-half-year-old English Setter. And the Setter, Esau, has run his little feet so hard that he's got arthritis in his toes, and he's got some arthritis in his thoracic spine and has had some issues there. If we let him, he would run from sunup to sundown and then be so lame the next day that he just would have a heck of a time moving. So for Esau and for Mona, because she's starting to develop some arthritis, we've come up with a couple of ways to manage that. One is we get them outside multiple times a day. And what that does is that it keeps them moving so that they don't get stiff from inactivity, but it also prevents them from overworking themselves, because that's really a big issue. Is that, you know, as I said, for Esau, if he had the opportunity, he would just go until his little feet fell off. And so what we're able to do is keep him moving and happy about that, but not to the point where he's having a problem with himself. So that's a great strategy for older dogs that still feel well and want to get out there and move, but they've got some arthritis or back issues that you're trying to keep under control. So frequent walks are fantastic. And then the other thing is using harnesses, so that if the pressure of the harness is pushed against the chest instead of across and around the neck, that helps tremendously. And then the other thing is what's the level of activity that your pet's enjoyed in the past? Has this dog been your running buddy, and so they're accustomed to putting down 3 to 5 miles at a whack with no problem? Or have they been kind of couch potatoes? So like everything for us, it's, we're all hitting this New Year's resolution to get more fit, stay thinner, get more lean muscle, things of that nature, and those are all great things for dogs as well. So if your dog's been a couch potato, then 3 short walks at 15 minutes each may be a lot. So just kind of see how things go and start out slowly. And then always bear in mind that what you see, the side effect of too much exercise may not be visible right after that walk or whatever that outing is, but it may be the next day. It's like kind of all of us, you do the weekend warrior thing and you just get out there and get crazy and wild. Just the next day you pay for it. So bear that in mind for your pet as well, but keep them moving. That's the most important thing. Even if it's only 5 minutes at a time, 3 times a day, that's fantastic. And especially for a dog that's got you know, heart disease or some really serious medical condition, you don't want to overexert them, but gradually build their tolerance up. And instead of 5-minute increments, maybe it's going to be a 30-second increment. So today it's a 5-minute walk, tomorrow it's a 5.5-minute walk, that kind of stuff. With cats, that's always quite a bit more challenging, and so if they haven't been very interested in laser pointers and toys and things of that nature, it's quite a bit more challenging to get kitties going. So if they follow you from room to room, maybe you're going to do some walking around the house just to keep them moving, or going up and down the stairs, things of that nature. Again, we forget that cats get arthritis, so go slow, go easy. Take them into this really, really gently. So hope that helps you guys out while you're trying to figure out what to do with your pets in terms of exercise. The other thing we've been getting a lot of questions about rather is anxiety in pets. And you can see from Papette that he has no anxiety whatsoever. Life is super good for him. Wherever he is, he's pretty darn comfortable. We talk about anxiety in dogs quite a bit, but we forget about cats. So for instance, we're having a ton of work done at the house, and you know, they're redoing the floors and everything's in an uproar and covered with plastic and all of this stuff. Out of the 4 cats we have, the one that we thought would be most stressed out is actually not. She's just fine. She's downstairs in our original Crock Pet Diet test kitchen, chilling out, enjoying life. The cat that we thought was most confident is the one that's freaked out. So what we're doing for her, they're all down in the kitchen hanging out so that they don't have anybody freaking them out, or you know, the noises are diminished from the sanders and the hammering and the nailing and all that stuff. But what we've done for her is to actually give her some liquid NutriCalm. So that's on the website at theoriginalcrockpetdiet.com. But what it does is use tryptophan and theanine to help reduce anxiety and kind of create a little bit of sedation. So that's been a real blessing for Elsa, because she has not been amused with this whole process. And when I'm downstairs working there, she's hanging out as close to me as is possible, but at the sound of any slight noise, she runs like crazy and hides underneath a countertop. So remember that cats get stressed too. There are tons of options available as far as things like liquid NutriCalm to help reduce anxiety. Feliway is an awesome thing as well. So that's a pheromone that you can either put into a diffuser, or you can spray it on sofas, around litter boxes, things like that for kitties. So that has been fantastic as well. It's not made Elsa happy, but it's made her less miserable. So that's good stuff. And then for dogs, the other thing we forget about, if we think about dogs that have recently been adopted and they've got some issues they're trying to work through, things of that nature, it's really important to make sure that we give them a break, because chronic stress keeps our brains, and their brains presumably, in this state of fight or flight constantly, and it keeps cortisol elevated. And so it's almost impossible to learn something when you're really stressed out. Have you noticed that? It's like it takes 6 times as long and it just doesn't get through to you, that kind of stuff. So cut your dog some slack. And if your dog is truly anxious and really just is in that state of high anxiety all the time, that's when I generally recommend considering prescription medications. There's a ton of stuff out there as far as Calm's Vest, liquid NutriCalm, Adaptil collars, Adaptil spray, all of that good stuff. And I think those are all extremely helpful, but there are times when you just got to get some medication together for these guys. And then the last question that we had is in relationship to lab work. So we've got some folks we've been helping with their pets with kidney disease, and you go take your pet to get their blood drawn to check their values a month later, and the creatinine has gone from 2.2 to 2.4. Yes, it's gone up. And yes, that's a little bit worrisome, but the thing to remember is that if you take a blood sample from a pet or a person or a cat and take it to a lab and they run it 3 times in a row, there's going to be a 10% variation between each set of values. So in truth, yes, that number has gone up somewhat, but it's less than the 10% variation. So I don't honestly put much stock into it unless we start to see that being a consistent issue. So, you know, you've checked your pup's creatinine. It's gone from 2.2 to 2.4. In 3 weeks, it's gone from 2.4 to 2.6. That's a little bit more worrisome. If it's gone from 2.4 to 2.2, it's just that normal variation. So just kind of bear that in mind before we freak out. We tend to get so focused on what the numbers say instead of looking at how is my pet doing? Does he feel good? Does he have energy? What's going on? You know, look at the animal that lives with you instead of looking at the piece of paper. As Dr. Shea, our teacher down at the Chi Institute, used to say, the paper has no chi. So use that as a tool to help you know where things are going, but be mindful more so of how your pet's actually doing. So I hope that was helpful. Look forward to talking to you guys next week. I'll put some info on there down in the comments section about the Calms vest. If you haven't checked that out, that's pretty interesting stuff. Enjoy, and hope your winter is as lovely and warm as mine is. Take good care.